Hi guys, so the lighting's kind of bad because it's 5:46, but I wanted to do a quick update for those of you who don't follow me on Facebook, and for those who follow me on Facebook, because I feel like status updates, you can't word stuff the right way, and it's just, you can't explain stuff the right way on there. But Kaya, if you didn't know, this morning around 4:35 a.m. Was it later than that? I don't remember. 6. It was so early in the morning. No, because I got to the emergency room at 6.
7.
What? I got to the emergency room at 6. Kaya had a seizure this morning in her crib while she was sleeping, and luckily I had woken up because I'm currently still sick, as you guys know, and I was hot, and John was rolling into my side of the bed, and all of a sudden I heard a choppy, gurgly helicopter noise coming from the hallway. And we always sleep with our door open, and our walls are really thin, our doors are really thin, so we've never needed to own a baby monitor or anything. And I thought it was maybe our water pipes, because I have a tendency to overreact. So I woke John up and asked him, if he heard the same noise, and he heard it, and he said it was coming from the kids' room. So he ran to the kids' room and brought Kaya to our room, and sure enough, she was having a seizure. She was stiff as a board. Her arms were just straight down her sides. She wasn't bending them. Her eyes were rolled back on her head. It was just extremely scary time. I think me and John are both getting emotional just thinking about it. It was very scary. She was super hot. I immediately called 911. They told me to undress her, which I had already unzipped her fuzzy pajama thing. We called, and the ambulance was at our house within 15 minutes. All of a sudden, our front living room was full of 6 EMTs. It was crazy. The response time was amazing. They were all really nice and really helpful. And she had a really high fever, very high fever, was very hot. So we tried cooling her down. We transported her to the emergency room in the ambulance. They did, and I rode along, and John stayed at home. As you guys know, I had a house guest, Ning, who had flown in, and so luckily she was able to stay with the kids in the morning, because I accidentally took both the van keys to the hospital with me, one in my purse and one in my pocket. So John had to come retrieve them, and of course my dad's in Kansas City and my mom's in Africa, and we had nobody to come stay with the kids that early in the morning, so Ning was kind enough to stay with them. I don't know what it is about people visiting me that I've met online, but they've just saved our butts. Ning saved us with the kids, Megan saved us when she came and visited, and I was in the emergency room and she had to take me there, But anyway, so John came and got the van keys and went home, and then they came back. He came back with the kids. Basically what they did at the hospital was they gave her Motrin and Tylenol really quickly to lower her fever, because it was just so high. And what she ended up having was a febrile seizure, which I guess is really common according to the EMTs and the doctor. I didn't realize it was that common. My cousin's son suffers from them, and I guess they can have them up to age 6, which is scary, and they can affect anybody. They're not necessarily hereditary. Kaya's completely healthy. She was healthy pregnancy, healthy newborn, healthiest out of all of our kids, and they can affect anybody and strike at any time during a fever. So what we think happened is that she just spiked really, really hot this morning, and the Tylenol that we'd given her had worn off, and she just had a seizure. And it's very terrifying. It's a very scary thing to see your child seizuring. I've never experienced it before. I don't know how people who have kids with epilepsy do it. It's just very scary. So the doctor assured us that just because she's had one does not necessarily mean that she'll have another one, but she is more prone to have them since, over kids who haven't had them. Because I do have a cousin who has a son who has them regularly, it is kind of scary for me to think about, her every single time having a high fever, getting that. She is prone to high fevers. As you guys know, over the, Christmas time, we were in the emergency room with her because she spiked a fever of 105. So that's just kind of scary. So to prevent them, we're supposed to make sure to keep her fever down at all times, you know, keep her cool, do cool baths. You know, if you didn't know this, I'm going to write a blog post about everything because I just feel like I'm not wording everything right now, but I just wanted to get this out.
That'll really help you remember it all.
Yeah, and it will help me remember for future, you know, what to do if I can write it down. But, you know, the doctor gave us a lot of good tips for fevers and some things that we didn't know. Ning was out also at the hospital. She wanted to see Kai before she left for her brothers, and, you know, she learned a lot too. Her daughter's a week younger than Kaya, so it's just like all these things that you don't know as a parent. Like, I did not know. You don't ever expect your kid just to randomly have a seizure when they're completely healthy, you know? So John and I are now on our way to Target, or Babies R Us. We're going to go get a video monitor, which I know seems a little bit overboard and a little bit paranoid considering she's 18 months old and, you know, isn't a baby anymore and we've never needed one. But my fear is that if she does ever spike another fever, because it was really fast, if she does spike another high fever and does have a seizure, I don't know if we would hear her through the thin doors or our thin walls, because I'm pretty positive the only reason why I heard her was because I was partially awake already due to, you know, getting hot and sweaty and kicking off my blankets and what have you. So, you know, the scary part of seizuring, I guess there's no nerve damage or any physical damage that happens after one episode. The fear of seizuring is more of the child hurting themselves when they're seizuring if they're not, you know, under supervision, or choking and on like vomit or spit. So even though, yes, she may not, like, I don't know, she won't, it's not a long-term effect thing. It can be, but it's not, you know, usually isn't. It's just more of, we want to make sure she's safe if it ever happens during the seizure. So we're going to go look for a baby monitor. I asked people on my Facebook page what they suggested. A lot of you guys suggested the Summer Infant one. Some of you guys suggested a Motorola one, and then I think someone else suggested a Samsung one. So we're going to Babies R Us against all of our better judgment, because John hates the store, and I'm not a huge fan either. They always only have one line open, and there's always tons of people there, and you're standing in line, and you're like, but there's like 60 people walking around, and it makes no sense. And they're just not very, ours is just not very good. So we don't ever like going there, but because they have the largest selection, that's where we're going to go to look at them. So we're going to pick one of those up, and we're also going to pick up a rectal thermometer, because we have a temporal one, and we've had an ear one, and we've had a mouth one, and an armpit one, and the doctor said that for infants Kaya's age, rectal is the way to go. So we don't want to mess around with high fevers anymore. The doctor said that we have to be more on it with her, you know, if she starts getting hot, to immediately bring it down. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be preventative. You know, we don't know what the future holds for her. We don't know, you know, 6 years is a long time to have to worry about your kid having random seizures. It's scary, but we're going to stay positive. And I look at it as today was actually a blessing in disguise, because if she was going to have a seizure at any time, now is the right time it happened, because I woke up to her seizuring. You know, Ning was there to watch our kids in the morning. Our insurance, we just got way better insurance than we used to have, you know, and so she was fully covered. You know, it was just the pieces fell into place, and even though it was a really heartbreaking and traumatic experience, it also, I felt like God was watching over us, and it was just kind of a, well, if this is going to happen to you, I'm going to help you through this, because we had nobody. My parents are out of, state, and my siblings all live far away, and they're not really the most helpful in situations, unfortunately, but, we didn't have anyone, so the fact that somebody all the way from New York was visiting the morning that we needed somebody was just kind of amazing. So we're just feeling really blessed right now that, whatever. But Kai is doing a lot better. She's back to her normal mood self. She's happy again. She's very tired. I guess when adults have seizures, it's compared to them running a marathon, so they're extremely tired after. So for an infant to have one, it's very exhausting. I can't even tell you guys, if you've had a kid who hasn't had one, it's so terrifying. Just the moment it's happening, John took her out of the crib, and he said she just felt like dead weight. It was just... And I don't want to freak anybody out. I realize this video might freak people out, but I think it's good to be aware of the things that, are possible, because John and I just, we would have never thought that this would happen to our kid or that this was a possibility. You know, she's been completely healthy. She's had RSV last year, but she had really high fevers and this has never happened. So that's what we're doing. That's what's going on. Like I said, I will write a full blog post and post that. I always update those on my Facebook page, but just kind of on the ways that, you know, you're supposed to handle fevers with young kids and just kind of the actions for when your kids see. I'm just going to write it all down because that way it'll be there for me and John, and that way if anybody else is experiencing this, you know, maybe it'll be helpful. But I want to say thank you to everybody on my Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter for just all the kind comments and all the texts people have been sending and all the prayers. Like, I really feel like they help. You know, this morning I was by myself at the emergency room with Kaya, and it was just very hard to just sit there with her in my lap, you know, crying and in and out of consciousness and just by myself. And it was just really nice to be able to go to Facebook every few minutes and be comforted by your guys' just kind words. So we want to just really thank you for that. I'm using my a friend loves at all times cup that Anna gave me a few weekends ago because I'm sick and having neck and HT, and it was just like I wanted for some reason to use this cup today because I just felt like I needed it. So thank you very much again for keeping us in your thoughts. Kaya's got a follow-up doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I will let you guys, I'll update you guys later. But we're gonna get this baby monitor and hope for a really good night tonight. We're kind of, John and I aren't really looking forward to it. I asked him before we left, I'm like, are there any good movies right now out on iTunes? Because I don't think we're gonna sleep tonight. And also it's John's birthday today, so happy 39th birthday, baby.
Thanks.
So yeah, so thank you all so much. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.